Hello, everyone. Johnny checking in before we continue. Where we last left off, the various members of our family were having special visitations in their dreams, and Kumak is being visited by Leanie herself. And things are moving in strange new directions. Magic and destiny are creating a tapestry around the glorious egg. I will resume now. Duck! She dropped, feeling a sword cut through the air above her. She rolled to her feet. Good! You might live through a real fight. Leanie? I told your ancestors you were smart. My ancestors didn't agree? I didn't say that. I just said that I told them that. I'm glad to meet you. Yes, for some reason you idolize me. You know that I drank too much and I got sick like everyone else, right? I peed my pants and had my monthlies and all that. Well, yes, but I don't think about that. I think about magic and Gale, and I loved Gale, but I lived a whole life before, during, and after he was in my life. I was a real person, Kumak. You are a real person. Keep in mind, you are not a demigod, okay? You are mortal, and you can die any day. Are you a demigod? No, bad example. I killed a lot of people and beasts. I killed them by fighting dirty, fighting mean, and fighting smart. There's no scorekeeping in battle, so make sure you act like it. Fight like your life depends on your enemy's death, because it does. Knights love your codes of ethics and such, but you should love living long enough to get old too. Yes, Leanie. Want my sword? What? Yes. Nice. Here you go. Leanie threw a sheathed sword to her descendant. Kumak caught it and unsheathed it. It had a broken blade, about half intact. It's broken. Yep, your friends can help you reforge it better than before. Metallurgy has come a long way, you know. Maybe even get some new enchantments. Does it have enchantments now? Yeah, it won't need to be sharpened, ever, and it makes people think you're charming. Also, history nerds like you will know that it's mine and will give you some extra clout because I took it with me. They say that you can't take it with you, but I took my sword. Did you name it? No. If I named it, maybe it wouldn't have broken. Take good care of it. And take good care of your husbands. I love you, Leanie. I know, Kumak. I love you too. Am I doing good? You're still raw, but you're smart, and you're good at loving people in spite of their flaws. Exercise your swings more, and exercise your wings. You weren't born with wings developed enough to fly, but if you work hard, you'll be able to glide and make them stronger. Well, thank you. Leanie smiled and waved. Wait, I have one last question. Yes, there is an afterlife, and yes, Gale and I have great sex. Oh, okay. Leanie walked to the moon. That was weird. You'd think there would be more visions, but nope. The storyteller is lazy. Breakfast was at a cafe. Many people came and congratulated the partners. A very elegant Uke woman, covered head to toe like many Ukes, came and asked to sit with them. There is an open seat, so they welcomed her. Her voice echoed inside the beaked helm that she wore. Thank you for leading the way in unconventional love. You are an inspiration. Seven answered, We didn't plan on making a splash. We just fell in love. All the same, you are, she replied to him. And Kumak smiled. I hope for a day where everyone is free to love whomever they wish and receive legitimacy from the law. I will always fight for equality, as the Countess, and as a Quill Knight. You have my thanks, Countess. Thank you all. And she gracefully left, stepping delicately. Etta spoke. Has anybody ever seen a Yuke's face? I've seen everything else on a Yuke. They're yummy, replied Sasha. But not the face? No. When they die, their bodies vanish, leaving their armor and clothes behind. And they aren't telling anyone their secrets either. They've got great tits, though. They're perfect cones. Nothing like 'em in the world. Sasha, should we invite her back for you? Etta asked. Sasha giggled. No, just making observation. I only like my co-wives. I couldn't love anyone outside our family. This family is all I have, and all I want. Kumak gave her snout a kiss. They carried their wedding clothes in a coach that they had rented for the day. Seven and Chips roamed the cathedral, greeting guests and paying the bishop. Chips's parents approached from their seats apprehensively. He spotted them while greeting Viscountess Flurflam. Ah, Cousin Bindi, my mother and father have arrived. Excuse me, please. Seven watched him go in despair. Don't look away, young Mataka. I'm still speaking. Your pardon, cousin. Bindi resumed her tirade. Now I presume you know the way to properly care for a Mughal wife on your wedding night? I have lithographs I can loan you. No, thank you. I have received instruction. He was mortified. Cousin Bindi was old enough to be his grandmother. I will inquire after Kumak for a report. If you do not care for her needs properly, I shall instruct you myself. I would be honored, but I'm sure you're too busy. Honored? I will make the time. It's no trouble. I'll be sure to drop by after the ball and demonstrate. And then she flew to a seat near other Mugu nobles. Oh, gods protect us, Seven muttered softly. Chips embraced his parents. Is Molly here? She wouldn't come. She wanted you to marry a human woman, not a Mataka, a Vierna, and a Mugu. So, if I marry a human too, she would love me again? I can't speak for her, son. We support you, even if we don't understand. His mother looked at his father, and his father spoke up. Is that your co-husband? He looks very uncomfortable talking to that Mugu. You look great, by the way. Oh, mother, that is Bindi Flurflam speaking to Grimhorda. She sends her regards. Oh, I knew her once before you were born. And then Chips excused himself to rejoin Seven, and saw him gazing upward after Cousin Bindi flew away. He patted him on the shoulder. Lesson in etiquette? Seven shook his head. Worse, she plans to visit us and give us a lesson in Mugu reproduction. I would never have guessed. I thought she was an old prude. You aren't considering. Some things can only be learned from experience, my friend. Seven was horrified. I'm joking, G. Relax. We're about to publicly declare our love. Yes, it's a joyous time, right? Some signals were exchanged, and the organist began to play the Blackbird song. Seven had always loved that song. whether it was a sea shanty or no. As their lovely brides marched together abreast, the cantor raised her voice in dulcet tones. If I was a blackbird, could whistle and sing, I'd follow the vessel my true love sails in, and in the top rigging I would there build my nest. The guests stood and whispered, looking at the lovely gowns and the gorgeous matching fascinators. The brides were also wearing garlands of holly berries atop their heads. They wore perfectly applied cosmetics, with their eyeshadow resembling the wings of viceroy butterflies, the orange and black looking dazzling against the brown, green, and white skin of the three brides in their shimmering dresses. Murmurs spread, and people pointed. Kumak wore Leni's sword at her hip. Etta wore her rapier, and Sasha wore Kumak's previously used sword tucked into her own sash, though compared to her it looked simply like a long knife. They arrived at the dais, and the partners arranged themselves. Bishop Benzai raised his hands for silence. He asked the congregation to be seated, and then lowered his arms and opened the book before him. Though I give to the poor and offer up my body for sacrifice, and do it without love, I do not profit. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not vaunt itself, is not puffed up. Love does not seek its own way. Faith, hope, love, these are great virtues, but the greatest virtue is love. He then closed the book. These people have come together in love. Is there any present with just cause that they should not marry? He waited 1 agonizing minute. Then forever hold your peace. Do you publicly declare that you will love and cherish your spouses? They all affirmed. Then I declare before this assembly that Grimhorda the Seventh, Satrasha, Etta Moonwalker, Chips Ravenholm, and Countess Kumek of Montblanc are now husbands and wives. Behold the marriage license. He displayed it and set it down. Allow me to be the first to greet you as a married family. Hurrah! The guests hurrahed and began filing out. Seven asked of his Vienna wife, Your name is Moonwalker? It's just a name, Etta replied, and then she looked over at her co-wives. You look radiant. So do you, Sasha replied. Chips's parents made their way forward and introductions were made. Well, said his mother, you certainly chose beautiful brides and a very noble co-husband. Etta blushed. Thank you, mother-in-law. She adjusted the bands of her spectacles nervously. His father chimed in. Let me buy lunch today, since you are spending so much on the ball tonight. Thank you, father, he interrupted. Call me Fisher. Etta smiled. Thank you, Fisher, but instead, please join us at our home for lunch. Well, he looked to his wife, we cannot refuse such an invitation. And Kumek chimed in, Lovely! We'll see you at 11. She gave them their address and agreed to give Fisher a kiss for good luck. He asked each bride for a kiss, and Sasha touched his cheek with the tip of her snout. In the coach heading back home, Etta asked, Is it good luck to kiss a new bride? Some people think so, Sasha replied with a laugh. Should I put on some lipstick? Oh, yes, how else will people know that you gave them good luck? Kumek replied and smiled. Chips let out a sigh. Why was I nervous? Kumek patted his knee. I don't know, dear. The ball is what you should be worrying about. Why? Cassandran wedding balls are for the guests, not the married people. You will be dancing almost all night long with anyone who asks you. The tradition is to try and wear them out so much that they can't make love until noon the next day. Chips paled. That isn't a Mugu joke? They really do that? Doing that is the Mugu joke, Kupo. They call it the nooner. She laughed gaily. Nobody else laughed. Silently, they were all doing arithmetic. 5 spouses divided by lots of guests. Guests get to rest. Spouses don't really. They were doomed. They decided that changing in and out of their clothes would be too much hassle, so they all just donned bib aprons to keep their fancy dress clean. Appearances be damned. The eggs were doing fine, a little too warm, so Sasha adjusted things while Etta and Kumak prepared sandwiches and wine. Seven and Chips bought some cookies and candy from a nearby shop. Seven was slow. He had forgotten to take a warming potion that morning, and the chill weather outside took a toll on him. Chips stayed close, concerned. Must remember warming potions for tonight, Seven said. Right. Back at home, things were relaxed. Everyone was conserving their strength as much as possible. Chips's parents arrived shortly after Seven had warmed up from the cold. They chatted about gardening and raising children during the light meal. The in-laws were eager to see the eggs, curious about Mataka hatchlings. Sasha was the proudest they had ever seen her, telling her new extended family about her clutch of 3. The in-laws were happy to have grandchildren. Well, eventually. These hatchlings would probably have the biggest family of any Mataka in history. Everyone studiously neglected to mention Molly. The Ravenholms complimented the partners on their home and congratulated them on becoming a chartered company and for their marriage. We'll see you at the ball, Chips's mother said in farewell. Do we just leave the eggs? We could show them off. They'll be safest here in the nest. Okay. Sasha allowed Etta to draw a kiss on her snout using lipstick so that she could stamp luck seekers desiring a smooch from the brides. She jingled the bells in her earrings, pleased at the sight of the kisser in the mirror that she held in hand. I look beautiful, like Etta. Correction. I look beautiful like you, Etta replied, and the co-wives embraced. After all, you only get to make love to both husbands, Kupo, Kumek chimed in. You are the most beautiful Mataka I ever met. I love you, Satrasha, Kumek added from her stool. Sasha reached over to hug her as well. I'm lucky to have wives like you, taking good care of me and our husbands. I can't cook, I can't make things, I'm not smart like you. I'm just good at dancing and fighting. And loving, Kupo. She's right. You may not be the best at it, but you're very good. Did I hear a challenge? Not tonight, anyway, Etta replied, and Sasha playfully traced her claws down Etta's back, all the way along her spine. Etta let out a squeal. Watch it, wife, or I'll do something about all your teasing. and she slipped her hand through the slit on the side of Sasha's dress and caressed her thigh. Kumek spoke up next. Does everyone have their garters on? There's a tradition for those, and our bouquets as well. What? Asked Sasha. We toss our bouquets to the unmarried gals, and they who catch them will marry soon. Our husbands will toss our garters to the unmarried lads, and, well, you get the idea. The wedding ball industry must make coin like highwaymen in Cassandra, remarked Etta. I think I know what I'll do when I retire. They gave themselves one last look in the mirror and checked each other just to be sure. They gave their swords, liking the aesthetic. We should make the men go armed too, suggested Sasha. Can't sheath a spear, Honeycrock, replied Etta. Oh, right. Swords, then? Chips has never worn a sword in his life. He'll be a danger to the public health. They laughed at this, imagining Chips accidentally causing havoc. Is it almost time? They all went to check the clock. We should be going, loves, Sasha called out. Seven and Chips sat up from their dice game and checked each other over, and they all headed to the meeting hall. They arrived a bit after some guests, but nobody complained. To begin, there was the traditional wedding line where the bridal party, Chips's parents, and Kumak's relatives stood to greet guests. Cousin Bindi kept herself aloof and looking elegant. Kumak's father and her sisters were very formal. Well, for Mugu, anyway. Kumak and her older sisters, she had three, all of them were married to nobles. There were a lot of pretty women at the ball, but the husbands only had eyes for their wives. It seemed forever they were standing in that line, kissing and being kissed, being clapped on the back, smiling until their faces were sore. Finally, they were allowed to sit. Etta passed around a vigor potion so that they could have a chance to survive the evening. After the food was set, Kumak's father immediately stood. Will the guests of honor please stand? Some chuckling at the weariness apparent when they stood. Kumak's father, Knight Commander Montblanc, raised his glass. A toast! My youngest daughter finally has wed. We thought no man could win her hand. In fact, it took two men and two women. There was some laughter. I hope you'll remember the 3 bouquets and 3 garters tonight when you think of how generous we were to you with food and drink. Military men like me get big appetites. More laughter. To be serious a moment. I love my daughter very much. Please treasure her, as I have. Cheers to my new relations. Cheers to love. Cheers to business partnerships and increased profit. After the third toast, the guests called out, Cheers! And everyone took a drink. The partners sat and rested and tried to eat, but as if on cue, Chips's mother stood. A toast! They stood again and raised their glasses. My only son and oldest child is a lazy mage, solving all of his problems with magic instead of honest toil. But I love him dearly. Polite chuckles. I often thought he was too busy reading to find a good girl, but he made up for that lost time by bringing in 3 good girls. Loud laughter. Here's to you, Chips, Sasha, Grimhorda, Kumek, and Etta. Be kind to each other, like a mother crocodile to her young. Be fierce to each other's enemies, like a hyena to someone trying to steal his meal. More laughter. Cheers to House Montblanc. Cheers to the family Ravenholm. Cheers to the family Moonwalker. Cheers! Drinks, and slumping back to their seats. Quick, drink more and swallow some food. Don't bother tasting it. I smell another toast. They hurriedly ate and drank after Etta spoke, and they had their mouths quite full when Kumak's oldest sister, Kopi, announced a toast. They swallowed as she toasted to the boasted sexual appetites of Mont Blanc women, the loyalty of Mataka, the wisdom of Vienna, and the cleverness of humans. Almost equal to Mugu's. Almost. Laughter and cheers and drinking. And then, to everyone's surprise, a topaz knight captain toasted next, supplanting the seamstress Scarlinda, who meekly sat down, brushing at her face in embarrassment. A toast! One of the bravest knights to serve under me, Grim Horda the Seventh, recipient of the Desert Rose with distinction. He did not expect me, so I regrettably had to crash the ball. Cheers to love! Cheers to honor! Cheers to those absent and fallen! Cheers! The knight captain came to their table, carrying a medal and a sealed scroll. He unsealed the scroll and read aloud. For valor and skill in slaying Knight Lieutenant of the Green Dragon, Galen Washoe, known Oathbreaker, Raper, and Murderer, Grim Horda the Seventh is awarded the Copper Cross with Valor distinction, as he defeated a knight of higher rank in single combat, and is hence promoted to the rank of Knight Lieutenant. Knight Lieutenant Grim Horda bestows honor upon himself, his family, and the Order of the Topaz Dragon. May he shine in the darkness. Hail! Grim Horda stood, and the knight captain pinned the medal to his jacket and placed a sash over his shoulder. He saluted. Seven returned the salute. He leaned in and whispered, Well done, Seven. Your mother sends her regards and looks forward to you soon returning home. Thank you, Captain Osborne. I'm afraid I must dash. May I have kisses for good luck? He moved down the line, kissed by each wife. He waved and about-faced to march out. Seven sat. How did you earn the Desert Rose? With distinction? What is that award even for? Chips asked. Seven swallowed. It's a rare award, the Desert Rose. I sired a clutch of dragon eggs, and then I didn't go mad. Go mad? Imagine, if you will, your first love turns to you one day, casually thanks you for donating your semen, and then transforms into a dragon and flies away. I've never seen a dragon face to face. They're terrifying, brother. God's co-husband, you're made of sterner stuff than me. No, replied Seven. No way in the 9 hells is that true. Well, I understand why it's not something you would brag about, Chips admitted. I have one uniform with the Desert Rose upon it. I only wear it among other Topaz Knights, and that uniform stays at home. Do you know many others who earned it? A human knight named Quaid. It was awarded to him posthumously. He leapt to his death trying to fly after her. He couldn't fly. Chips choked and coughed. I want you to know that I love you, Chips. Your compassion keeps me centered. You and the others, you're my moral compass. I love you too, Grim Horda. You inspire me to courage. Oh, I'm not brave. I'm terrified. Terrified in every fight. Scared that my family could be taken from me. The co-husbands embraced. I will fight fiends of hell to defend you, brother. But I can't protect you from death. One day she will claim you, and all my love won't be enough to stop it. Love isn't enough. No, love isn't enough, but it's what we've got, and you play the hand you're dealt. Seven nodded at this and squeezed Chip's shoulder. Scarlinda recovered herself. A toast! To the fools I was finally able to trick into buying those rocks, and the fabric for those dresses. Love makes fools of us all, and I pray to one day be half the fool they must be. Cheers to love, cheers to friendship, and cheers to Scarlinda's quality dresses. Cheers and laughter. The Calabarthy woman sat back down hurriedly and emptied her glass. Then, just as they began to feel rested, it was time to throw the bouquets. One landed directly in front of Scarlinda, who hadn't stood to catch one. One was caught by a Mugu atop her human friend's shoulders, and the last was caught by a middle-aged human woman wearing a sash with the crest of the Quill Knights. The wives sat, and the husbands knelt before them, Seven claiming Kumak's garter, Chips claiming Edda's, and they both slid their hands up Sasha's stockinged leg to claim the third. The first garter was caught by a human Quill Knight squire. One was caught by a Selkie who jumped higher than the others by a margin, and the third landed directly in the hands of a young Calabarthy break mage. When it was time for dancing, the bridal party was passed around the whole room, one at a time it seemed, though Edda spotted Scarlinda and that break mage dancing as well as the Quill Knight squire who danced with his senior. It was a ball that all talked about all winter long. For the historic significance, the surprises, and after, the sorrow. The partners were leaning on each other, and Kumak sitting on Seven's shoulders as they practically fell into their home later that night, barely noticing that the door was ajar. The fireplace barely glowed, but in the dim, Edda could see overturned chairs. "We've been invaded," she gasped. Chips stirred up the coals and built the light back up to reveal that every chair had been overturned. But nothing broken, and nothing noticeably missing. Sasha ran to the bedroom. They heard her scream and fall to the floor. The others reached the bedroom together to see Sasha fainted on the floor, clutching the blanket covering the nest. The eggs were gone, with a letter in their place. Chips numbly rebuilt the fire as the others tried to revive Sasha. Kumek had one question. Who would do this? Edda couldn't read through her tears. Sasha stirred. Kumek took the letter from Edda's hand. It was in a gilt-trimmed envelope, as if to congratulate. Dear friends, we worked to find you, though it wasn't hard. Congratulations. You robbed me of what I valued most. I hope I've returned the favor. I always wanted to be an auntie. I may write again to tell you about their progress, maybe even invite you to visit. Don't bother trying to find us. Instead, make preparations for our reunion. We will have lots of guests and surprises to welcome you. I will be kinder to the young ones than you were to me, so don't worry about their welfare. Their aunties will love them dearly. I'll write again. At your service, Acid Burn. P.S. What do you think we should name them? Damn you to the special hell, Acid Burn! My children! Damn you! Edda wailed, holding Sasha, who kept trying to scream, but only hoarse squeaks escaped the Mataka woman's jaws. Eventually, they all fell asleep in each other's arms, weeping and exhausted on the newly converted floor. They were all too tired to dream. In the morning they were still in shock, but they helped each other out of their finery. The wives kept their fascinators. 3 eggs, said Sasha. 3 glorious eggs, affirmed Etta, weeping anew. 7 hadn't spoken since the terrible discovery. Chips embraced him and said, "We will reclaim our own, and pay what is owed, and extra. Letting them live was a mistake that we won't repeat." "My co-husband speaks my thoughts," whispered Seven in Mataka La. Sasha translated for him. "So our path is clear. First, we report the crime. Second, we prepare for our reunion with Acid Burn. Third, we kill everyone who tries to keep us from making our broken family whole again." They held hands in a circle around the empty nest. "I was going to be a good mommy, right?" Sasha asked. Kumat gave her hand a kiss. "I know you will be. I never doubt it, Sasha." They doused the fires and didn't bother to set the chairs aright. They took all of their traveling accoutrement and made one final gesture before leaving the family home. Edo wrote a single S on their company charter. They would not return without the glorious eggs. In the chromatic river of time, Mother River watched. Fate never is kind, even in lazy stories.